Hey, Brian Rodgers, watch this video. I'm going to show you how to make the most amazing plant-based Philly cheesesteak sandwiches. This is for me. This video was for me, guys. This is what I like to eat at home. Follow me. I'm going to show you the entire video, how to make the cheese from scratch, no oil. Such an amazing recipe. Guys, watch the video. You'll love this. You'll be eating this every week. Take care. The funny thing is, I brought like 4 aprons to me to Las Vegas, and the guys I cooked with in the kitchen there, which I'm going to tell you all about. I'm doing some amazing work for a really famous restaurant there. They all wanted aprons, so I gave out 4 aprons, including the one I had on. So I literally have no more aprons right now, only my chef's jacket. So I figured if I have my chef's jacket on, we need to get serious. And you know, I was really exhausted yesterday. And today I just really wanted to, I was thinking about what I wanted to do today, and I said, you know what, today's gonna be about me. I'm gonna cook what I like to eat all the time. And this is probably one of my favorite meals. I'm gonna show you how to make this from scratch. And the reason, even though we're doing, it's a smoked tempeh mushroom Philly, this is the way we can prep for all kinds of different things, burritos and tacos and pizzas and all kinds of different ways. I'm going to show you several different techniques today, so follow me all the way through. It's going to be a little longer video than normal because I'm going to show you several techniques, including how we can get smoke into food right in our own kitchen. So with that said, we're going to get started. I do have a recipe written down today, so I have proof. I actually wrote my recipe down with measurements. So I'm actually going to cook correctly today for y'all, so you know exactly what the measurements are and things like that. So what I'm going to do to get started is I'm going to use some tempeh, okay? I'll say, Brian, how do you get, if you're doing vegetable Phillies, you know, how do you get protein in your food? Well, one of the ways is I like to put tempeh in it. Tempeh, this particular one you can buy at the store. This was $2.75 for this huge thing. Very cheap. A lot of different places make it. You can also make your own tempeh. I like to make black bean or garbanzo bean tempeh, but this one's made of soy. But per serving, this is 16 grams of protein, so it's a ton of protein. But I want to show you several techniques because a lot of people say they don't really like tempeh, and I think a lot of people do it wrong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this whole thing started by steaming this tempeh. I'm going to steam this to start because what the steaming does is it really breaks down the kind of the bitterness and the weird texture that a lot of people don't like when they go plant-based and eat tempeh. So that's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to open this whole thing up, and I'm going to get this going real quick. And we're just going to, you can do this, you can steam it any way you like to steam things. How I like to steam things is either over like a double boiler with a steam table, but we don't have time to do that today. So I have one of these little, these are like microwave steamers, and you put a little water in the bottom. I put just maybe a half a cup of water in there, and then you put the little steam tray over it, and then literally we're going to take our entire piece of tempeh and we're going to throw it in there. You can throw all the pieces in there too. And then all we do with this to get it started is we put it in the microwave for 5 minutes. You can also do that with broccoli. You can do it with vegetables. You can do it with anything you want. So you just literally take it like this. We're going to throw it in our microwave. You aren't going to see it in my microwave here, but I promise you it is in my microwave. So we're going to set the microwave here to 5 minutes. And we're going to get this going. We're going to start to prepare our mushrooms. So I've already cut up some vegetables here. We're going to make our Philly out of some great vegetables I found today. I have some red peppers in here. I've got some button mushrooms. I've got some onion. I went ahead and pre-cut those up. But what we're going to do is we're going to try to make the tempeh and the mushrooms our main ingredient. So I like these big portobello mushrooms that I get at the farmer's market. So I'm just going to cut those up real quick, and I'm going to get everything in marinade. The reason I'm put the tempeh in first is I'm going to marinate the mushrooms and the tempeh in the same marinade, okay? And we're going to do the marinade right here, like right in front of you here. So I'm going to kind of move all this out of the way for a second while we get the marinade ready. And let me get the ingredients out here. Again, I've written all this down for you, so you don't necessarily have to follow completely along. But the first thing we're going to do is take some really good, I like really good balsamic vinegar. So I've always used this kind, this aceto, and we're going to use about 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. So we're going to open that up, about 2 tablespoons. There's about 1, there's about 2, okay? So I told you I was going to measure today. A little bit more balsamic. We need that. So a little balsamic vinegar. And we're going to do 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. Now I know, Brian, Worcestershire sauce is not vegan, right? Well, this is Annie's Worcestershire sauce, which is vegan Worcestershire sauce. And the reason Worcestershire sauce is not vegan in most cases is because it contains anchovies, which this one does not. So we're going to put in 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire. So there's 1, there's 2 approximately. There we go.
Is that a lower sodium content then? Because
it's not, this one's not necessarily a lower sodium content. It's probably a little lower than regular Worcestershire, but it's still got some sodium in it. It definitely, so per tablespoon in here, it's pretty low, 65 milligrams actually. So yeah. Our tempeh has been steaming. I'm going to put our tempeh, I'm going to check on our tempeh real quick. Not quite there. I'm going to put that on for another 2 minutes. We're going to keep that going. So we got our marinade going here. We're also going to do a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. I did not have any Dijon mustard, so I'm going to use spicy brown mustard. Just as good. It's also basically the same thing. So I'm going to use about a tablespoon of that. Throw that to the side. And then I'm going to use some hickory salt, some Fool's Gold hickory salt, which I do not have right here. So I'm going to reach back here and grab some hickory salt. Here's our new packaging for Fool's Gold, by the way. It looks really nice. So I'm going to use some hickory salt. I'm going to use about a teaspoon of hickory salt. So that flake salt like that, which looks good. And then I'm going to use what I call SPG. It's all-purpose seasoning. You can also use steak seasoning. So any kind of steak seasoning you like. I have a new Season All product out that's basically salt, pepper, garlic. It's got some paprika in it. It's got a little, like I said, some garlic. It's got a few other secret ingredients, but any steak seasoning will do. I'm going to put about a teaspoon of that in, about a teaspoon, okay? Steak seasoning. Again, any kind you like. I'm going to do about a half a teaspoon of garlic powder, okay? So just do about, I don't want to do too much on the garlic powder. About a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. That looks good. And then we're going to do some parsley. Give that a little bit of a stir here and get that going. And again, you can use marinades. You can use these, you can marinate vegetables and all kinds of things and use them all week. So I'm going to get it going about to there. Man, that smells good. And then one more thing I'm going to do right at the very end. I'm going to add a little Fool's Gold barbecue sauce, about a tablespoon. Give that a little stir, just to give it a little bit of a Fool's Gold flair.
Nah, we need more.
Yeah, we need more. Okay, we need more.
We need more.
We'll put a little bit more of that in there. I'm going to actually give that a little bit of a taste just to see where we're at here. Give that a stir. That's about perfect. Actually, a little bit more Fool's Gold actually was what I want. So we're going to do a little bit more of that. It really has a nice deep steak marinade flavor to it. I'm going to add a little bit more parsley to it. And I said I was going to cook by the book today, by the recipe, and here I am adding stuff already. So, all right, so we have that marinade ready. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to check out my tempeh. Looks good. So tempeh is coming out here. And again, I steamed it, and I only did that. It's not fully cooked yet. I only did that because I wanted to really kind of get the cooking process started and kind of loosen it up a little bit. So that's about perfect. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our tempeh. I'm going to start this first. I'm going to cut this into strips that we want. Now, we're starting to build out our Philly cheesesteak now. So I want kind of smaller strips. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this in half like this, like so. And I'm going to cut it in half again here, like so. And then I'm going to kind of strip this a little bit like this. Now this will break down. It's not going to end up being like these big strips once it's done. So I'm going to cut that pretty thin. If you cut it too thin, it will fall apart. Cut that into some little strips like so. Looks good. Looks good. All right, so that's it. So we're going to take that. Everybody goes in the pool. We're going to go in the marinade here, like so. Give that a stir. All right. Now, while we're doing that, I'm actually going to I'm actually going to cut up the rest of these, a few more of these mushrooms, and then we're going to smoke everything. So here's the key today, is we're going to use a range top smoker, which you may have never seen. So it's a range top smoker, and it comes apart like this, and we're going to put it right on a range. We're going to add some wood to it. When we use this, we're going to go over to the cooker, and you're going to be able to see me actually doing it. So I'll bring it back over to the thing here in a minute, to the range here in a minute. All right, now we finished cutting up our mushroom here. Get that in the marinade. And it depends on how you like it. I kind of like a little thicker pieces of mushroom. Put about 2 or 3 of these in there. All right, just like that. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and get the smoker started now. So Ken's going to come around here to our range, and I'm going to show you exactly how to use a smoker. What you do is you open this up, and then we're going to take some wood chips. So these are Fool's Gold wood chips that we have custom made. These are hickory wood chips. And we're going to go ahead and start both of our burners here to about medium heat, right there. And then we're going to lift this up. Make sure you do this before it's hot. This has been well used. We're going to put about 2 tablespoons of wood in there, just like so, right in our house. Now, a lot of people say, Brian, you're not really smoking your food. And I truly am. Like, this is truly smoking. You're going to see literal smoke coming out of this here in just a second. This is a great way for anybody at home to be able to smoke food. Now, be careful. This will start to get hot. So what we want to do is make sure you turn on your fan. And we're going to wait till this gets really warm, like this. Push that in a little bit, like that. And see how it's already starting to smoke right there, Ken? See that?
Oh, yeah.
That looks really good. So we're going to wait for that to start smoking, and then we're going to put our tempeh and our mushrooms right in there, and it's going to smoke it down for like about 20 minutes. Now, again, this is truly smoking your food. This isn't putting liquid smoke in it. People say, you're not really smoking your food. I'm telling you right now, I've owned hundreds of smokers in my life. This is one of the easiest, fastest ways to execute plant-based barbecue or any type of barbecue, is just this home range smoker. And it doesn't smoke your house up, that your fan will catch it all. But oh my gosh, that hickory smell. Oh, I could just sit there and like smell that all day long, right? So this is a great way to get smoke into your food without having to have a huge smoker. But if you have a huge smoker, this recipe works just as well too. So while that's getting going, I'm going to come over here and finish this tempeh mushroom mixture here, like so. I'll cut up one more mushroom. And I can already, can you smell that, Ken? I can already start to smell.
Like, burning wood was always one of my favorite things.
So amazing.
Like, still sandalwood, cologne, or like body sprays that they have.
So amazing. Oh my gosh. Now, the thing with the smoker, guys, is you want to make sure it's going to be hot. So you don't want to go over there and grab it with your hands. Trust me, I've done it multiple times. I still have a scar right on my thumb. That's really what we want to see right here. I don't know if we can get a zoom in on this, Ken. That's really what we want. See how that's really starting to marinate together? Now, when I was in Vegas recently, I was cooking in a commercial kitchen. They had one of the marinating machines. You could literally do this and throw it in this marinating machine, and it would like marinate your food like it had been marinating for like 3 days. So that's not necessary for at home. But this particular mixture right here, as I said, that could be used in burritos. It could be used with like stroganoff, all kinds of different things. And there's tons of protein in there. And just look at that. So that's what we're going to do. Now, as you can see over here, I'm starting to eat the mushroom. See all this smoke coming out of it? That's exactly what we want to see, okay? So we're going to take all this food right here. And you can cover this with foil. In fact, I'm going to cover this with a piece of foil real quick before I do this, just to not get it everywhere. So I'm going to throw this on this foil like this.
And that's kind of how I do my smoker at home.
Yeah.
To keep the bottom from getting too.
Yeah, and you have the same smoker, right, Ken?
I have the same smoker
Yeah.
at home.
Yeah, and you can find these smokers on our website, Fool's Gold Barbecue. We sell the smokers, and we just sell them at cost. So we want everybody to be able to use those kind of smokers. So we're going to take this piece of foil here and we're going to put this right in the smoker. Again, this is hot at this point, so I'm going to turn this while I do it. So you want to grab it by the handle here.
Make no mistake, that handle will
It will get hot, so be careful. I mean, that's smoke. That's what smoking's all about. This is, you don't need to use liquid smoke. I mean, you can smoke your own food. So we're going to take this, we're going to put this right in here, like that. Again, that will get hot. We're going to throw it in there. And that's it. So now we're going to seal this. I mean, that just smells so good, Ken. All right, so now we're going to take this, and then once you close this, put it back on both burners. Once you close this, it's going to seal the smoke in. So we're going to take this in, and we're going to seal that. And notice it's going to stop smoking. There's a little bit coming out, but did you see that smoke stop? Like it literally stopped smoking. It'll just seal all that smoke in, and it'll cook. And press it. I'm just going to press it down a little bit just to seal that in. We're good to go. We're going to let that go for like 20 minutes. All right, and while that's going, I'm going to start on the rest of the dish. I'm going to show you something else. So we've learned how to steam tempeh, which you could also steam vegetables that way. So that's a great technique. Now you've learned how to use a smoker, which is a great technique to be able to know. And now I'm going to show you, I use hardly any oil, as most of you guys know. And I'm going to show you how to get amazing vegetables, amazing sauteed food with no oil. So the way we're going to do it, I've got a couple tricks here. So let me just pull my cutting board over here. The reason this jalapeno jar is on here is for a reason. So I use some shallots, so I like to get everything going with some shallots. So I've got some shallots cut up here, and if you don't know what shallots are, they look like small little onions, but they're a lot stronger. So that's what we're going to start it with, and then we're also going to use some jalapeno juice. So how do you get like moisture into food? There's other ways to do it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get all this cooked down without using any oil, and they're going to be amazing vegetables for our Phillies. So we're going to go back over to the oven here real quick, have our vegetables done here, and then I'm going to make a nice, amazing, what's the thing that's known for in Philly? Like they're known for like their amazing like sandwiches, but then they're known for like the cheezwhiz and all that stuff. I'm going to make a version of like a provolone plant-based cheezwhiz. It's going to be so hot, it's so amazing. I can't wait to show you how to do it. And it's an easy way you can make cheese. It's not hard. So we're going to do that. We're going to get this going now. And we're going to start sauteing these vegetables. So I'm going to throw the shallots on there and get those going. Again, no oil. We're not going to use any oil in this. Then I'm going to take, and wait for that to get hot. Get that working around a little bit. I'm going to have pour a little bit of jalapeno juice in there. Let that start working a little bit. It looks just like oil, doesn't it? Like it looks just like you're starting like with olive oil. And we're going to get that going. That's how I start a lot of dishes. If the jalapeno juice is too strong for you, you can use pickle juice. You can use some vegetable stock. You can use vegetable broth. But don't use oil. You don't have to, guys. I'm going to show you, look, I'm putting amazing smoke in food. I'm putting great flavor in there. I'm putting great flavor in here with like some jalapeno juice. I'm going to make a cheese. You don't have to use, oil is so high in calories. It was one of my keys when I lost 120 pounds, now 140 pounds and reversed 6 diseases. Oil was one of the things that is really a hidden thing in food. It really is. If you look at most of my recipes, you'll notice that there's not really oil in them, or if there is oil, it's very little, or I try to give you alternatives to oil. So we're getting that going, which is looking good. And then I'm gonna actually take these veggies and we're gonna throw some veggies in here. So we've got some onions, we've got some mushrooms. Ooh, that looks good. Again, this is going to be, even though we're making Phillies right now, I'm just going to make like 2 or 3 Philly sandwiches. We're going to have all this left over for the rest of the week and all this mushrooms left over. There's all kinds of dishes we're going to be able to do with this. Read at the Rodgers video. So I'm going to cut up, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up some peppers because I like peppers. I have these are, I can't remember what kind of peppers. I think they're Pasilla peppers, I want to say, and an Anaheim pepper. I'm not going to do too much of these. I'm just going to cut up a little bit just to give it a little bit of heat in here. And they're not, again, they're not extremely hot, but I just want to get that in for a little bit of flavoring. I always recommend you do that. If you like peppers, always throw some peppers in what you're doing. So I'm going to cut those up a little bit. And then we're going to get those going right along with the onions. All right. And that's really it. We're going to let that go and just let that do its thing. That's going to be just absolutely amazing right there. So we just move that around. And you're going to see these vegetables browning. You're going to see them just caramelizing. You don't have to use oil. I mean, look at all that goodness in there. All right, so we're going to do that. While we're doing that, notice I have a pan here in the back. I'm going to turn this saucepan on to about medium heat as well. And while these vegetables are cooking, I'm going to show you how to make an amazing cheese sauce for Philly cheese. It's almost like when you go to Philly, you can eat like cheezwhiz, or you can have provolone on your Phillies. You can have it without cheese. I don't know why you'd ever do that in a Philly, but you know.
What was your Philly before you went plant-based? Cheezwhiz?
So my Philly before I went plant-based was cheezwhiz, and I liked it I like the pieces. A lot of people like it kind of ground up with some onions and stuff. I like the big pieces like this. A lot of places in Philly you don't get bell peppers in it, so it's just onions and some mushrooms, whatever. I like it with the bell peppers now that I'm plant-based because it just gives a lot more nutrients in it. So I kind of learned during my weight loss that if you're just eating a good variety of different color of vegetables and a good variety of food, you're going to get all the nutrients you need. And my body's agreed with that. So
the more colorful the plate, the healthier it is.
Yes, I agree. So we've got this going here. Again, you don't need to check on that. It's not going to burn it. So I can see it smoking just a little bit. What we're going to do now is we're going to start on our cheese sauce. All right, so what I'm going to do for the cheese sauce is I'm going to take a little bit of, now I am going to use some vegan butter, just a little bit of vegan butter here. Use I can't remember what I put on my thing. I put a tablespoon. I'm going to do a tablespoon of butter. So let's call that a tablespoon. Does that look like a tablespoon, Ken?
Think about that.
Yeah. So that's vegan butter. And it's got some calories, so that's about 90 calories or so right there, which isn't terrible, but that's gonna be a lot. That's for all the cheese sauce. So we're gonna kind of get that going like that. And then, once that's getting close, I'm gonna use a little bit of flour. You can use any kind of flour you want. I'm just gonna use regular all-purpose flour for this. But again, you can substitute anything. You don't have to do it exactly the way I do it. You can if you want.
Gluten-free.
Yep. Yeah, and I did get and I did get gluten-free buns for today, so we are going to use gluten-free buns. And look at those veggies just going here. I mean, that's just looks amazing.
And this is what you call multitasking.
This we're cooking a lot at once, and you're going to see in 30 minutes this video how much food we'll have and how many different recipes I'm actually cooking in real time. And I haven't done anything hard yet, right? I mean, nothing's been extremely hard. So we're going to get that butter going here. Like so. And what we're going to do is make a roux. So a lot of people are scared of the word roux. All a roux is melted butter and some flour. We're going to get that going.
I made an awesome brown gravy the other night.
Yeah, and this
is your a pre-seasoned burger seasoning.
Yeah, and this is the same way you'd make a gravy. Make a gravy the same way. A lot of people will put a lot of fat in the gravy though. We're not going to do that for obvious reasons. I mean, this is about me today. I very rarely do stuff, Ken, that's about me. Like I normally will do like whatever anybody kind of decides they want me to do. Today, this is what I eat. This is my world here. So, and this is the true mountain grub. Like I'm getting smoke on food, but it's not necessarily just barbecue, you know. We're going to keep that going. Okay, so this butter's ready. Now we're going to take about a tablespoon of flour. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of flour in here like this. Then you'll need to whisk that pretty good. You need to start whisking that down like that. And then we're going to start adding some milk. We're going to start adding, just going to put that there, and we're going to start adding some milk. I use coconut milk. And we're going to use about you want to use unsweetened, and start adding a little bit of milk to it. And I'm going to show you a great shortcut here. So we're going to add a little bit of milk, get that going. Probably about 1/4 of a cup at a time is good. And I'm like cooking, overcooking. Obviously you shouldn't be doing this, but I'm running out of space here. So, and I got to deal with the cameraman too here. I'm going to cook that down a little bit. And all I'm trying to do is get a good cheese sauce base going here. That's looking good.
You just don't want you don't want the clumps.
That's right.
All those clumps
That's
out.
right. That's what we're doing. We're working all the clumps out. Give these a stir while we're doing that. Multitasking. And guys, I'm trying to do this all on video just to show that it's all done. You could do any one of these in a day. And these all can be done ahead of time. Okay? Can all be done ahead of time. So that one's about ready. I'm going to put a little bit more milk in here. Again, I'm just using coconut milk. And then I'm going to take a shortcut here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add just a tiny bit of pepper. About a teaspoon of pepper. And then I'm going to add a little bit of nutritional yeast. I have Bragg's. This also adds some more protein into it. Also adds a little bit of a cheese flavor into it. So I'm going to add a little bit of that. So I'm going to add some, maybe a tablespoon of nutritional yeast, like that. Keep that stirring. It's going to kind of start turning the color that I want, which is more the cheezwhiz color. But I'm going like for a white cheezwhiz color. It's obviously not cheese yet because I haven't put any, I put a little milk in it and some stuff. Now what I'm going to do is put a little bit of, this is vegan Parmesan that Lauren Panoff and I made the other day. It's made out of pumpkin seeds or pepitas, some nutritional yeast, some garlic powder. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of that in. Get that going. That's an easy little simple recipe. Now it's starting to look the way I want. All right? See how that's looking, Ken? Starting to be just what I want. I'm going to keep making it a little bit. Depends on how you like your cheese. If you like it thick or not. We're going to put that in.
I've always liked the thicker cheeses for like the sandwiches.
Right, and that's what I'm going for.
And the thinner cheese for like a mac and cheese.
Yep, and then here's the last thing we're going to do. We're going to kind of turn this heat down to low, and then I'm going to take some Daiya cheese. These are the Daiya mozzarella shreds, and if you can just, a lot of people will try to just use these on their own, and it's hard to get the consistency and the flavor you're looking for. But if you do it the way I just showed you, it'll work. So I'm going to put about a handful of that in, and now I'm going to melt that into this cheese. But notice I didn't just throw the Daiya cheese in and start. I actually made a roux first, and that makes all the difference in the world for the cheese.
Something to stick to.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to keep cooking that down. Some milk. It's looking delicious. Oh yeah, that's looking delicious. Give this one more stir. These are about done. These are about what I want. Look at that. Just looks amazing. Again, I'm showing you right on video in real time. Cook it. I cooked from scratch. I didn't have everything all set up ahead of time. I wanted to do that today because I wanted you to see like what I go through on a daily basis, like how I cook. And like this particular meal that I'm cooking here, this would feed my family for an entire week. So that cheese, look at that. Look at that cheese. That's just perfect. And if I wanted to use it like for nachos or whatever, I would have made it thinner, you know, but this, I wanted to use it for the Phillies, which that's almost perfect. So we're going to pull this off of here real quick. Like that. Oh, and that just looks delicious. See how that smoke's just coming out of it and the moisture's kind of coming off the mushrooms? That's exactly what you want. I'm going to go ahead and grab one of those and taste it. Oh my God. It's so good. So, we've got our veggies to right here. Now what we're going to do, we're going to move the veggies over a little bit. We're going to take this whole lid off of here. throw that in the sink. Just turn this off. And again, you don't have to do this all at once. You can go step by step. So those veggies are about where I want them. I'm going to take a spoon, which I have right here. And I'm not going to use all this in the fajitas. I'm just going to take what I want. I'm going to spoon this right into this mixture here. Watch this.
The Phillies.
Yes. Now we're making our Phillies. So we're going to put all that right in there. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Got that tempeh and that mushrooms and that marinade. It's going to get into the, look at that. It's going to be so good. All right. I'm going to save some of that. I'm not going to cook all of it right now because I want to use that for something else later. Just like that. All right. And you could have done it several different ways. You could have marinated it longer if you wanted to. You could have smoked it a little longer. Whatever you want. There's all kinds of different options that you could have used there. So now we're going to cook all this together. Look at that. Oh, yeah. I mean, you want to talk about just protein and smell and just amazing looking mixture there. Like, what else could you think of to use this on, Ken?
Well, you already said it. You know,
Yeah. Burritos. You could use this on a breakfast burrito.
Throw these in some nachos.
Some nachos on a salad. I mean, it's just endless the ways you could use this.
You get some chickpea pasta.
Chickpea pasta.
Some dressing there.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, the pasta's a good idea. You could take make a pesto pasta, pour a pesto pasta in with a little bit of coconut milk, and have you an amazing like a pesto pasta. Oh, sounds so good. I can't believe the smell on these. I'm gonna let those cook a little bit. All right, I'm gonna let those go just a little bit, and then we're gonna assemble our sandwiches. So what I'm gonna do is take a couple rolls, which I got from my local bakery here in Denver today. They're gluten-free. These are gluten-free rolls this time. The whole dish is not gluten-free. I used what did I use that had gluten in it? The flour. The flour. Yeah, I didn't use gluten-free flour. So that's the only thing making this whole dish not completely gluten-free. So I'm going to show you the way I like to do my Phillies. So I like to cut them up the middle like this, kind of separating them here. So I'm going to do them like that. And then here's another secret that I want to show you about. So if you're really watching your calories, you can actually reach into this bread right here, and you can actually pull out some of the bread like that. You can actually hollow your bread out. You don't want to completely hollow it out, but you don't need all that bread. So I'm literally pulling out, there's 10 calories. You know, that's probably 20 calories I pulled out of this bread so far. See that? I'm not going to do it on everyone because not everybody is watching their calories so close, but for me, look at that. These are all little secrets, guys, that you can use. So I hollowed that out. For the next one, I'm actually going to do old school to where it kind of folds. I'm going to cut it in half like this.
Good, not all the way through.
Yep, I'm going to cut it just like that. And for the last one, I was going to hollow the middle out, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it the way I like it. I'm going to do it over the top. So cut through just a little bit. Now I'm not going to hollow this one out. I'm just going to open it up like that. Okay? Yep. Now, I'm going to give that one more stir. We're going to build our sandwiches, but then we have one last step that I'm going to show you. You're going to be amazed. All right, so now we're going to assemble these. So here's how I like to do it. I'm going to actually go back to the cheese real quick, and this cheese will last in your refrigerator for like 3 to 4 days, or you can freeze this cheese too, but when you go back to reconstitute it, it's got a little thick here. So I'm going to actually add a little bit more coconut milk to it. Not much, just to kind of thin it out just a little bit. And give it a stir. I know it's good, but at this point, this is when you would taste it, right? To make sure. just to make sure that it's what you're looking for. And I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Oh.
Put that in a can and compress
Oh,
air.
my. So good. It needs one thing. It's missing one thing. And what it's missing, for me, it's missing a little barbecue rub. That's what it needs. And I have our new Colorado barbecue rub, which is kind of our original, but it does have a little demerara sugar and a little hickory salt in it. So we're going to put that right in there. And that, my friends, is going to make for an amazing cheese sauce for Philly. Oh, you could use it over broccoli. I'm going to put a little bit more nutritional yeast in it. Here I go off the recipe. I just want a little bit more cheesy flavor, and I want it to be more color. I want it to give it a little bit more cheezwhiz color, just to go for the authenticity, you know? So there it is. I mean, look at that. I mean, that is just, that's cheese, right? Non-dairy, completely plant-based, completely vegan, and it's so good, guys.
Only a little gluten.
Yeah, only a little gluten. And I didn't have to do, like I said, I didn't have to there, but I'm not gluten-free myself, so I know a lot of people are. Most of my stuff is gluten-free, but I'm not. So not everything's gluten-free, but if you did want to make this gluten-free, all you would have to do is switch out one ingredient, use some wheat flour or gluten-free flour instead of the regular flour. Literally, that's it. And because you're putting so much other stuff in it, you can substitute out easily about any kind of flour. All right, so that's all we're going to do. So now we are going to assemble our sandwiches. So I'm going to take this tray of sandwiches over here, and I'll put it on my little middle burner here, which I love this little middle burner. And here's how I like to do it. So I like to take a little bit of this cheese, like this, and I like to start it with just a little cheese. So I like to just give it a little bit of cheese in there like that. There's tons of protein in this too. It's nutritional yeast is one of the best sources of protein, especially for vegans, plant-based. Put a little bit more cheese in the bottom of that. And it doesn't matter if you get all over. That's why I put it on this sheet, on this little sheet pan. I'm gonna do that. Let's get started with a little cheese, just like that. And then we're gonna take this amazingness here. And I'm gonna, that bottom part, that's the part I'm gonna use. I love that little charred part. So I'm gonna take some of this, and we're going in the sandwich. Look at that. That just, guys, if you could smell this right now. Oh, look at this. Like I said, today, guys, it's about me. This is what I like. Put that all in there. It doesn't matter what you, it doesn't matter like what you know, if you're vegan, gluten-free, meat-free, carnivore, whatever, you're gonna like this. Trust me. And I showed you right on camera exactly how I did it. This was old school, plant-based mountain grub, guys. We're not done yet. So now we're going to take that. All right, that looks good. So we got our three things. And then, the most important part, back with the cheese. Now we're going to put the top. Just like that. And anything else you like now, if you want hot sauce on it, you want anything like that, that's a good time to do it.
I usually add like
I'm going to do some
green
drizzle.
chili or jalapeno.
Perfect time to do it. Perfect time to add some of that. So if you want to add anything to that, by all means, please do there. In fact, there's some chilies in here, Ken. I'm going to actually do that on mine. So I'm going to actually get out some more of those chilies that are in here, like you just said. Because I know everything. I didn't use green pepper, so I know everything green in here is one of the peppers, right? So there you go. So that's how I like to do it. And then if you want, you can put a little bit more Daiya cheese shreds over this, but I don't recommend that, okay? I recommend you making your cheese sauce just like this, but there's one more step, all right? Follow me. We're going to go over here. One more step. We're going to go outside. Bella, what do you think of these? Those look good? Those look good?
That's Bella safe cheese too.
That's Bella Safe cheese. It has no dairy in it because you don't like dairy, do you? You can't do dairy. There's no dairy in this, so you could even eat that. So we're going to go outside, And again, guys, I just wanted to do this informal video so you can kind of see, like, you know, everything that's going on around us. Take it in the oven out on, so you can kind of see what we're looking at. Oh. So I'm gonna put it in the broiler. Come on. See it? Here, look. See it? See it in there? Doesn't that look delicious? It does. Come over here a second. Look. We're going to put it in the broiler for 5 minutes, and then we're ready to eat. Okay, here we go. So we are here. Can you come over there? Paper on the basket, and I'm going to put mine first right there, and then I'm going to take Ken's, put it right here, and that's the dish, guys. So Ken and me, so amazing. That's the dish, guys. Philly cheesesteak sandwiches, and let's give it a whirl. Mmm. 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 So good. That's good. You know what it needs? A little bit of Fool's Gold hot sauce. I got food all over my face. So I'll put a little Fool's Gold hot sauce on that. Guys, that's so delicious. Oh. Mmm. Mmm. I could eat like 20 of those. So good. Guys, that's Philly cheesesteak. What I'm going to do, watch some more videos, because I'm going to use all that leftovers that we have. I'm going to make like 3 or 4 different new recipes. I'm going to do some tacos. I'm going to do some stuffed mushrooms. I'm going to do a bunch of other stuff with that leftover. But if you want to make a good Philly cheese, guys, this is the way to do it. This is the way to make a Philly. So cheers. Have a great day.